As you can see, I already have a little bit of base on, but let's be honest, it's looking quite dull. There's not really much going on. I've got no contour, no kind of blush or anything, no glow. It just looks a bit dull. So what we want to do today is basically add some bronzer, blush and highlight. So I'm going to show you a really easy way to give yourself that really glowy bronzed look, even when your base is looking so dull like it is now. So this is great if you're going to be applying it over your base. So this is whether you've used a tinted moisturizer or a general tint or a foundation or whatever you've used, this is going to go perfectly on top. So this is for those of you who love applying your foundation first and like to put everything else on after. So, okay, currently I do have a bit of powder on, but it's been like this for the past, like, I'd say a couple of hours. So I'm good to kind of apply any kind of cream or liquid on top because the powder's really settled down. Plus I didn't apply a lot of powder, so you can do this on top if you want to. So, okay, let's get started. Now, obviously, we're going to be using cream or liquid kind of finishes today because we want that nice glow and we want our skin to look bronzed and just healthy and just look the best version of itself. Now I want to go through with you the products that I'm going to be using today. I am going to be using my Makeup by Mario. What is this again? Oh, I always get confused because the names are so similar. This is the Soft Sculpt Bronzing and Shaping Serum. This can be used underneath or on top. The shade I'm using is medium today. I'm also going to be using my Charlotte Tilbury Glowgasm Beauty Wand in Pink Gasm. This is a really nice blush, but it also has some glow in there. So it's a little bit of a highlighter as well, but we are going to be using a separate highlighter on top to really give us that extra boost of kind of glow and just, you know, that highlighted look. And that is the SURRATT Artistique, if that's how you say it, liquid highlighter in Chi Chi, and I really love this shade because it's this really nice golden shade, which is exactly what we want. Now I might add in the odd couple of products here and there, but this is ultimately what we're going to be using. So as mentioned, it is all kind of like creamy products, like creamy to liquid products that we're using, and this is going to really work well to give us that glow and give us that lit from within glow. And you're going to be pretty surprised at how we transform this very dull piece of work right now into something that is glowing and just looks like it's shining bright and just not too much and not in your face either. So I want to just highlight, no pun intended, the importance of glow. And what that is it really helps to bring out features. Anywhere that you apply something which kind of allows the light to reflect off of it and bounce off of it, that's going to give you an enhanced look to that area. So it could make the area look a little bit bigger than what it actually is. It gives the illusion of it being a little bit bigger, and it just really kind of makes it just shine in comparison to the rest of the face. So it adds dimension to the face, which is why you don't really want to apply everywhere all over the face. You want to add it in, like, be very strategic with your placement. Now I just want to explain what skin type this works really well for. So if you have dry skin or combination skin or kind of normal skin, then this is going to work well for you. Even if you do have skin which is slightly on the shiny side, and I say shiny and not oily because most of us, even with combination skin, you can end up with a little bit of a shine later on in the day. That doesn't mean you have oily skin. It just means that you've got some natural oils coming through, but it's not oily in the sense that you're not producing an excess amount of oil in your skin where it starts to look really greasy. So even if you do develop a slight shine throughout the day, it could be that you still have combination skin, because I have combination skin. Later on in the day, I do get a little bit of a shine, but I quite like it. It's more on the dewy side and it doesn't look greasy because I don't have oily skin. I wouldn't recommend a super glowy look for anyone with oily skin because you're already trying to kind of keep all that oil at bay, and adding anything that looks even close to it isn't going to really do you any help. Like, it isn't going to help. I would be a lot more strategic. So this video will still apply to people with oily skin, but I just want to add that the placement will probably be a little bit kind of different, but also less product, and you're just applying it in certain areas. So it really depends on how oily your skin is. That's down to you if you have oily skin to figure out, is this something I can do, or is this something that, you know, isn't going to work for me? And ultimately, once you've watched this video, you'll then be able to tell. So step one is bronzing for a warm and nice kind of sun-kissed base. So currently we have a dull base. Now what we want to do is is start with the bronzer, and this is going to really help to give us that nice warm look, but also give us a little bit of shape as well. So it almost works like a little bit of, you've got a little bit of sculpting in here as well. So what I want to do, and I said I'm using the medium shade here, I want to get this on the back of my hand, and I've just got a little bit there, as you can see, and I'm going to use the brush, which is the F4 brush from Makeup by Mario, and I'm going to start with the small side because I want to just kind of use this on the perimeter of the face first. So ultimately our goal here is to create a really nice bronzed look. We don't necessarily want to just add it everywhere on the forehead, all over the cheeks. We want to be very strategic so that it adds dimension, but it also makes us look sun-kissed without looking like our entire face is covered with it. It is really important for you to choose the right shade for your skin tone. So when choosing the right shade, try and opt for something which isn't too dark, because like for example I have medium, I would say tan skin, and this is a medium shade, but as you can see, and you'll see when I put it on my skin, it isn't overly dark. It's not so dark where it's kind of like really deep brown. It is more of a medium brown, so you just want it kind of a little bit deeper than your skin tone, right? So hopefully that helps when coming to pick your bronzing shade. You don't want it to be too light because it's just not going to show, and it can end up looking muddy in that case as well. But you also don't want it to be too dark where you might as well just use a contour. Do you see what I mean? Like a contour would be a lot darker for you. So I'm going to use this side. What I want to do is use this small side, and we're going to really work on enhancing the temples, the cheekbones, and the jawline. These are the main three areas that we're going to work on. So I'm going to go into a little bit of this, not all of it. So I'm just taking a really small amount to the side of my hand and then really buffing it into the small part here. Now you're going to see this is going to be very subtle, but that's exactly what we want, because I'm going to do it on one side so you can really see the difference. So we're going to start on the forehead here. We're going to go really close to the hairline. We're going to start there, and then we're going to gradually work in, but you're always going to keep most of it here. That's all we're going to do here at the moment, right? We're going to grab a little bit more, take it to the side of the hand, buff it into the brush first. Now we're doing the cheekbones. I forgot what it was called there. We're going to work from the top part of the ear, and then we're going to gradually work in, so almost where you would contour, right? So we're just going to press, again, keeping most of the colour along the perimeter of the face. So most of the colour should be along the perimeter, and then it gradually fades in. See how that's nicely created that really nice sculpt there? Okay, now we're working on the jawline, so we're grabbing a little bit more product, buffing it into the brush, and we're going to go underneath the jawline here. You're just pressing. It's such a light colour that because it's not so dark, you're not so worried about it looking really obvious. You don't want to just take it down into the neck a little bit. Let's have a look at this, right? So as you can see, this side we have nothing. Look at the difference. Look how bronzed and sculpted I look here. Now I just want to explain something. I know while I'm doing this, you're thinking, yes, but this looks like you're contouring. It kind of is, but this is what I have been going on about for years, is that you can still use bronzing shades, like bronzer shades, as your contour, because you're going to get the best of both then. Then you're getting a little bit of sculpt, and it doesn't look so obvious, and you're also getting that really nice bronze look. So this whole thing where you should only apply bronzer where you think the sun hits you, to me is complete rubbish. You don't have to only apply it there. You can if you want that look, but ultimately there are so many other ways. Are you telling me this just doesn't look right? Do you know what I mean? Like, you can get the best of both, so why wouldn't you do this? So that's what I really want you to understand, is don't be afraid of kind of using products in different places and using them as something else that you wouldn't usually use it for. So right now you can see this is all dull, boring, it's quite flat, there's no shape, there's no depth, there's nothing going on there. Here, all of a sudden, we're sun-kissed. All of a sudden, we've got a little bit of that glow, because it's coming through this product because we're not using a matte powder product. And we've also got that really nice sun-kissed look as well. So it's giving us the best of everything that we want from a bronzer, and what we would potentially get, a little bit of what we would get from a contour, which is the sculpting. Now, what I want you to understand is you can use the other side of this brush, which is the bigger side. We're not going to put anything on this side, but what we are going to do is just kind of go over the whole area, because what this is going to do is really help to almost like just buff it all in, just so that you don't feel like it's so disconnected. And I always feel like doing this after really does help to just stop it from looking like you've just applied it in this specific area. So you're just patting all the way across, you're not dragging at any point. See how all of a sudden it just looks more cohesive, it doesn't look so separated, and you probably didn't think it looked separated before, but the minute I do this, all of a sudden it just looks like it's flowing, right? So that's that for you. I really do hope you see the difference. I personally can see a huge difference. My skin looks healthier, it looks like it's got this subtle glow, but it's just looks better, right? I mean, it just looks better. So let's do the other side. So again, let's repeat this. We're going to take some of this product to the side of the hand. We're going to go really close to the hairline here. That's the first place we're going to press in. Then we're going to gradually fade it further in. That's enough. Now we're going to take a little bit more product, buff it into the brush like for a decent amount of time. And then we're going to start from the top part of the ear, and we're going to gradually fade in, work our way towards the upper lip, but we're never quite kind of getting there. There you go. Take a little bit more of the product, and then we're going to go underneath the jawline. The trick is to use a shade which you feel doesn't require a whole load of blending, but isn't lighter than your skin, isn't exactly the same color as your skin. It's just a touch warmer, deeper than your skin. So now that we've done that, like I said, like now you can see it's all looking a bit more similar. We're going to switch over to this larger side of the brush. We're going to just go over the whole face. Just keep buffing. And this is going to just make it all look a bit more fluid. There you go. See, all of a sudden our skin is nice and bronzed. It's a little bit sculpted and it looks healthier. Step 2 is using a blush to create a healthy finish and just add a bit more color into your skin. So right now we've got a really nice sun-kissed look, but we do want to add a little bit of color, right? Because especially when, and this obviously this whole tutorial is for like any skin tone, but you obviously adjust it, adapt it to your skin tone. So for example, if you are much darker, you would go for a much darker shade in your bronzer. And if you are much lighter in skin tone, obviously your bronzer shade and your blush shade is going to be, you know, chosen according to your skin tone. So it doesn't mean you're using the exact same shades as me. Ultimately, what I have right now is a bronzer, which is actually like the bronzer shades are already similar to my skin tone because I'm kind of warmer and tanned in terms of my skin tone. So it is also really important for someone of my skin color to ensure that I have a little bit of color in there just to break it all up a little bit. So I'm gonna go for a pink shade, which is not overly pink. I actually feel like this comes out a little bit more of a kind of corally pink on my skin tone. And please do remember that a lot of the time when we pick shades, we just kind of think I love pinks, but sometimes they can look quite different on our skin. So this would probably look quite pink on someone else, but it actually looks quite nice and corally on me, and I love coral blushes for my own skin tone. Pick something that is gonna complement your skin tone. It's gonna give you a nice flush of color, but it isn't over the top and doesn't look like it's drastically different to your skin tone. Now, what I wanna do is get this onto the back of my hand. So I don't like applying this directly onto the skin. I'm gonna put this just on the back of my hand. I'm gonna get a beauty blender here. I'm just gonna get the back of it. I'm gonna buff into some of this blush, not all of it. I always like to use the back of a beauty blender because it's just round and it's the perfect shape for the kind of thing that I want. Now what we're going to do is, again, really buff it into this. Now the placement that we're going to use here is the top part of the cheekbone, the peak of your cheekbone, but we're going to go in an upward motion, kind of sweeping upwards so that we get a nice lift from it, and also so that the middle section doesn't look so shiny, you know, because this has a little bit of a glow in here. Now we're not dragging, we're buffing. For everything that we apply, we're going to be buffing, which in my terminology, means we're really pressing it into the skin. But and the reason I say that is because I've seen some people say buffing is something else to them. So you want to call it, this is like dabbing, it's bouncing, whatever you want to call it, but we're not dragging at any point. So what we're going to do is go on the top part of the cheekbone here, right? So I like to kind of go right there. That's my area that I start, and then I go upwards. Grab however much more you need as you go along. And then I go upwards. So keep grabbing however much you need. You kind of keep going until you feel like you've got the kind of color that you want. Now, please remember that you've got to make sure that you buff this into the sponge, because otherwise you might be going in with a whole load of product. So really get it into the sponge first and then apply it. So the placement that I've chosen basically gives us this really nice lifted look. So it helps to actually give us a flush of color, but it also helps to lift the face as well. So we're going to go into this again, buff it right into the sponge, and then go on this side. So you can see we're just kind of sweeping up as we're like dabbing and bouncing the sponge. But we're starting from that really nice area right there, which is kind of like, it's just the peak of your cheekbone. If you feel like you don't have much of a peak, then this is still the area that I would potentially start from. So just kind of like figure out when you look at me and I'm showing you that area where that is on you. So I feel like we've got some really nice blush here. There you go. I'm happy with the amount of color we've got there. Step 3 is using a highlighter for a radiant finish. So we've already got a little bit of glow and radiance coming through with these products, but I really want to focus on using the highlighter to just focus on that radiance and getting that lit from within glow. And plus I want to be very clever about where I actually place this. Now already you can see, compared to when I first started, my skin has so much life in it now. It just looks like it's come to life. It's not dull anymore. There's more dimension to it. It just looks a lot more healthy, and when you turn in the light you can see that really nice glow. What we're going to do is apply the SURRATT Artistique highlighter in certain areas, and this is a really nice color for my skin tone. So this is actually a sponge here, and what I like to do is use the sponge, but I actually buff a little bit of this into the hand, and then I use the sponge. So I kind of put a little bit on the hand and then I use the sponge to apply it, because we're actually being very strategic with where we apply this now. So right now we want to go peaks of the cheekbones. Use your finger if you need to, you know, like just to go over. But I would ideally use a sponge, or yeah, a sponge really. I love that glow. If you thought we had glow and radiance before, let's look at the difference. Here, look at that glow. And here, it's subtle, but it's not really like glowing. Whereas this side is really glowing and we've got that really nice radiance. So you could finish with this and leave it at this if you wanted to, but I'm showing you all of those steps. So we're gonna go peak of the cheekbone here. So you're not going everywhere you applied the blush. You're actually going smaller, but it's similar shape and direction. This color is so stunning. A couple of other areas that I want to apply this. We're gonna get a little bit on the pinky finger, tiny bit, not a lot. We're gonna go just a little bit, tiny bit on the brow bone there. Like such a small amount, you can hardly see it, but it does make a difference. Next, we're gonna go Cupid's bow here. Go over it and then use your other finger to take the excess off. Again, very small difference, but worth it. Then, tip of the nose, and then blot it off. There you go. How crazy is it that we initially started with such a dull base, and now I look bronzed, I've got a flush of color, and I've got glow and radiance. It's honestly as easy as that, but we're gonna finish this off now so that you can see exactly what it looks like with just a few extra finishing touches. So I am gonna curl my lashes, because if you don't, I don't know where you've been, but it completely changes the way your mascara looks. We're gonna go with the Hourglass Unlocked because it is literally the best mascara in the world. And we're just gonna get this really nice lash going. You wanna wriggle it into the root and then drag out. I always start from the outside and then work your way in. You'll find it so much easier. I personally find it's a lot easier that way. And you don't really need a lot. I feel like with this type of look, when you've got skin like this, go for like a really nice natural eye. So don't focus on applying like too many eyeshadows or anything. Obviously if you want to, do it, but I actually don't think you need much, because your skin is doing all the talking and it looks so good that you don't need anything else, you know? I just find it crazy how we have managed to turn this really dull base that I basically had on all day. Well, actually it wasn't all day, it was only like a few hours, but still, like, it was a very quick base that I did, which I didn't even put a lot of effort in. It's just crazy how we've managed to actually transform it. And all it is a few extra like steps that to completely transform it. Now, another thing that I do is I want to add a little bit of this lip hydration thing that I use, which is the Dual Lip Maximizer. I put the tiniest bit on my bottom lip, go like that, leave that, leave that, leave that like that. And then I'm just gonna show you how you can mattify certain areas so that your whole face doesn't look so shiny. So we're gonna get a powder. I'm gonna use the Makeup by Mario Surreal Skin Soft Blur Setting Powder in 3 Neutral Peach. And we've got my Real Techniques brush. I'm gonna just get a little bit of powder, really buff it into this brush. And this is where we're just gonna apply it along strategic areas. You're not applying it anywhere that you applied the bronzer, blush, or the highlight. So it doesn't mean you apply it everywhere else, but I'm showing you the best places to apply it so that your skin doesn't look fully oily or greasy if you're worried about it looking like that. So I tend to go a little bit into the middle of the forehead, not all the way up, because I think it's quite nice seeing a little bit of shine there. It just gives you dimension. So kind of here, and then I go between the brows, right? And that's about it there. Then I go along the side of the nose here, a little bit on the cheek area, tiny bit. You go on the smile line and then the chin. I'm going to show you one other area which you could potentially apply it. So side of the nose, little bit on the cheek, chin. So can you see how we've still got that glow coming through, but actually we've got that really nice kind of flawless look as well, and it adds dimension. Now, one other area you can apply your powder is actually this whole area here if you want to. So this is up to you. I would just apply a very small dusting, which is what I'm doing. So I know I'm dragging, but I'm really not pressing. I'm skimming over the skin. So you can get away with actually dragging, but making sure that it is a light touch. So it's just touching your skin. It's definitely not pressing. Okay, I think we can just add a little bit of lip liner just to finish this. This is the lip liner Mocha from Anastasia Beverly Hills. And I'm just gonna add a little bit. I'm not drawing this in properly, I'm actually just doing a really light, soft line. This is a really good color. Every time I use this, I'm like, why don't I use this more? I think there's just so much stuff on my desk that I'm just kind of like, which one do I use? And I just always end up going to the same one. So now that that's done, it's up to you whether you want to actually add like a lipstick or like an actual color or a gloss, a balm. I usually leave it like this because that balm, the Dior lip maximizer, is actually enough for me. I just feel like I'm not fussing around with any colour, and I feel like I like the look it gives. But if you do want to apply colour, you can. Let's add a bit of this Laura Mercier Caviar Smoothing Matte Lipstick in Peach Cashmere. See, this is another thing that I left there, and I forgot that I actually really liked this. So, okay. I'm just going to add a few swipes. I don't like painting all over the lip. I always blot. And if you want, which sometimes I do, I just go over the lip line again, softly. I'm happy with that. And that is the finished look. Like, how crazy is it? If we look at how my face looked at the beginning and to now what it looks like, it's completely different. There's more depth, there's more kind of sculpting, it looks more bronzed, there's a bit of color in my cheeks, I don't look so flat, and it just looks like healthy and glowing and exactly what I would want from my skin. So hopefully this has shown you exactly how you can transform your makeup. Very quickly, I do want to just ask you to please head on over to my online magazine, which is the Beauty Breakfast Club. It is a newsletter that you receive, or you can go in and check. It's all online, so you can go on. It's an actual magazine online, and you are going to find everything to do with beauty, a little bit of wellness, a little bit of mindset, lifestyle, style, and yeah, you're gonna love it. Loads of beauty stuff on there. There's reviews. A lot of the stuff that I actually talk about in my videos or show you product wise in here, you're gonna see first over there, by the way. So you're gonna see like firsthand all of the product reviews and stuff, and you know what I really think about certain things and tips and tricks, and everything's, you know, very engaging. So I know you're going to love it. There are two versions of subscription. One is free, which gives you access to some of the site, but if you opt for the paid version, which is less than getting yourself a coffee a month, then that gives you access to the entire site. Plus we get a chat room where we can chat, which is really fun, and we're building a really cute community, really just nice people there, and I really love that. So you might want to be part of that. But yeah, hopefully you have enjoyed this. Hopefully it has kind of helped you to understand how you can transform that really basic dull look into more of a lit from within look. And please don't forget, because it really does help me out, you can hit that kind of like button, the bell button, so that you don't miss any of my future videos. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe, because these little things that you do actually make a huge difference to my channel, and it really does help me. There's a reason why you probably hear people going on about it on their videos. But I have really enjoyed today. I'm so glad that you've managed to see how you can very easily transform your look, and also how bronzing, blush and highlight can really just make your skin come alive. So I'm going to see you on the next video.